The very first thing that you want to do is, of course, check your expedition maps. You'd much rather do elites and defenses rather than assault modes because this will do a lot of damage to your cart. And also, these modes actually give you a bigger chance to earn a lot of money. Ideally, it's purely defenses and not elites, but you can probably get away with elites. You're also going to want to buy units that you can actually get from here. It is going to be very useful, trust me. But make sure you do have your puppet because puppet is going to deal a ton of damage. And with this run, you're going to be needing a ton of cash since farms aren't allowed. And you're also going to be very selective with which units you upgrade, so make sure you guys do watch this video to not make any mistakes with upgrading your units. And one more thing, when you get onto these nodes, there are actually multiple bugs. The first one is they don't even walk over here. I'll show you guys later on if that actually happens. They just stay on the platform. That's very frustrating. And the second thing is they run all the way to the front. And if these bosses are actually tanky enough later in the stages, so let's show here. Let's say if it was here, and then all of your units are in the front, you're not going to be able to kill these bosses. So you need to actually manually move your units. This is very frustrating. And if you guys have not reached the checkpoint, you guys cannot move your units on the cart. I will show you guys the placements of all of these units on the cart later on, don't worry. We've completed both of the elite stages already, and I'm going to go ahead and complete these two defense stages. Once we're at the checkpoint, I will bring you guys back for the unit placements. These are very important, so make sure you do pay attention because it will be very difficult for you to actually clear the assault mode if you actually have bad positioning. I mentioned this, if you're already on the last node before the checkpoint, you want to save up as much money as you possibly can. Because as I mentioned earlier, you're going to need to buy these support units. Otherwise, it's just going to be very, very difficult to clear. The more units you have on the map, the better. Because you can get rid of his minions way quicker and you can actually target the boss later on. Now that we're at the checkpoint, unfortunately, we don't actually have the best units. We're gonna go ahead and buy them off anyway because we will need the help. And of course, Ramen Guy does not offer you anything because this is a challenge game mode. So what you're going to want to do is put your Razor Jaw in the front. Your puppet needs to guard the back because we have, unfortunately, an assault mode, which is not ideal. Then we're gonna want Goku. This is just a support unit anyway, but you can bring your own Goku. We're gonna have to put somebody else at the back. I think Megumi placed around here. Megumi placed around here should be good so that you can actually bring some extra support. Not only that, we can actually upgrade this and bring in a Winged Spirit, which could be quite helpful. We do also have Lady Giant, fortunately. And yes, nice. So we have the ability which is extra damage. Then we have Dark Mage right here. We're gonna place it again on the center to cover the back for the assault mode. Kenpachi will be placed in front right alongside Razor Jaw and Lady Giant. Itachi, you're also going to be placing him at least decently close to the front, maybe around here, to break all the shields if they have shield units. Then String Demon, of course, you're going to place right here. You want his cone to do as much damage. And lastly, you want your another support unit, whoever it may be, to put it right over here. Once you have your positioning ready, just press play, and we actually have two assaults because the random expedition mode decides to give us the most annoying one. So unfortunately, we have to deal with it. As you can see on assault modes, these back-end mobs are going to be your problem. They will reach the cart no matter what you do, because you have to defend the front a lot. And the reason why you have to defend the front a lot is because of how difficult the boss is going to be. We are lucky we have this payload charge. We will get an extra 100 HP and of course some extra cash. Now that we're back to these defense nodes and one last assault mode, we should be able to make a little bit more money and probably get another card. So I'll bring you guys back once we're actually at the boss. Okay, there we go. We finally got the bug. We're at the defense node and nobody actually went down aside from the Itachi. I don't know why the game actually does that, but I hope Anime Expeditions actually fixes that. And if you've made it this far, just leave a like to the video and subscribe to the channel. They're both free. Okay, we've gotten past the assault modes. Unfortunately, we're down to 870 HP. It's so frustrating to deal with multiple assault modes, trust me, but we are now at the boss. So this is of course going to be the hardest part of the game. Hopefully we will be able to do this properly. We will upgrade our puppet one more time. And I don't know if I can upgrade anyone else. I don't think I actually can. So now we have to see where the boss will actually spawn. The boss spawns on the left side. So far, I think the boss always spawns on the left. Because every single one I've done, except for one I think spawned on the left. I'm not exactly too sure. But we're gonna go ahead and upgrade the Lady Giant's ability right over here. Hopefully we can get rid of his ads as fast as possible so that we can actually hit the boss. Because your units are actually going to be quite stupid. They're going to target the ads as much as possible and not care about the boss. As you can see, the boss is not even taking that much damage. They're just busy with destroying his useless minions. Once the boss's HP actually drops to 50%, you want to target everybody to the boss and hope that you can actually kill him fast enough before he kills you. That's pretty much the game here. So we are now switching everybody to the boss. Hopefully anyone actually decides to target him now. Because as you can see, they actually don't want to do their jobs and they just really don't care about the boss here. We're already down to the 40% mark, but our heart is also very low. Oh my god. And now that it's down to 10%, we are in a complete race. Hopefully someone decides to target the boss. There we go! We've completed it! We've done Master Solo! This next part of the video is about the units, which I'm going to be showcasing for the sake of you guys if you guys don't have some of these units. Again, Carrot is actually going to be super good. Let's go ahead and get rid of these units right here. You don't need to use the exact same units I've used. However, I'm pretty sure you need Puppet. That is non-negotiable. You're going to want Itachi. This is because Itachi actually gets rid of the shields. He is your shield breaker. If you can have someone who can substitute for him, then good for you. That is also viable. Carrot is very good. I would not use Vegetable or Vegeta. Vegeta's way too expensive and it's straightless anyway. So Carrot, Goku could be quite good. I put Megumi in there because Megumi's owl can actually stun. And it's just pretty much more AoE damage, which is why I brought him anyway. You can bring a Toy Maker. Toy Maker is actually not the worst option that you can actually bring to that run. Razor Jaw I brought in because he also does have the AoE. You want as many AoEs as possible to hit the boss and get rid of his minions as fast as possible. That means that also does apply to my Kenpachi. Kenpachi does also have a full AoE, which is why I do have him there at the very front if you guys were paying attention. That is so that you can actually kill off the minions really quick. And again, if you do not kill off his minions, you cannot attack the boss. Next one you want is actually going to be Lady Giant. Lady Giant is also a very solid option. Obviously, Lady Giant has to be Evo, so the Envy. Because if you guys are using the default one, then you cannot actually do anything about it. I don't know why I have two Lady Giants that are Envies anyway. Keep in mind, you cannot bring Elf Mage, so Elf Mage is definitely not an option. You cannot bring him. I think you can actually bring Cell. Cell might bring a decent amount of utility because he does have a lot of slow and stuns. And also, he does attack quite fast. And will copy the highest unit, or the damage of the highest unit, which is actually quite useful. And if you guys can actually get Gohan, then Gohan is going to make the run so much easier. So there are definitely a ton of options. Or if you want, you can also bring the Forbidden Teacher or the Hero, which will give you Raw plus 30% damage, which is actually quite nice. Now that I've shown you how to do it, make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel. I promise you to bring you even more good guides.